Wow, I am tired. Hey guys, Jason here, and in this episode, I just wanted to do a review or a little recap of everything that we've covered thus far and make sure that I fill in the gaps. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you to those few of you who've been, been able to discover these videos, because YouTube SEO with these kinds of topics is very hard. And number two, hopefully you've gotten some value out of what's going on thus far. So if you've gotten value, please go ahead and hit that like button on this video and then comment below with other things you'd like to see, because this series is just as much about me building my business as it is about helping you build yours. We're all trying to reach the same goal. So I want to be as open and helpful to you guys as possible. So in this episode, I wanted to just go over briefly everything that I've covered thus far. It's kind of like a catch-all and help you see we've done all these little pieces. You know, the first episode was 40 minutes, learn my lesson there. And so we've done, cut them down a lot, but as you cut things down, little things fall through the cracks. And even though not all these videos have been perfectly optimized for YouTube SEO, I want to make sure that everything's covered. So if you're watching this, you know, right now, or you're watching this 6 months from the recording date, you're able to get everything that's going on in here, and hopefully it'll help you with your business. So I have my OneNote open here, and I just wanted to, I'm gonna auto hide that ribbon so we have more space. So I just wanted to go through essentially my kind of foundation, if you will, of building where I was at with starting this business. So starting this consulting, the big goal here is to eventually have some business coaching students. So I'm going to be a business consultant eventually down the road. I'm taking the long way because most people don't take the long way, and I want to have everything all set up, and I'm not really in a super rush. I'm in a rush to do things right, not in a rush to get it just done and out there. Or let me rephrase that. Willing to do it the right way the first time, as opposed to just spamming people or going about trying things willy-nilly. Just being very strategic with how I'm spending my time, because just like the rest of you, I still have job and responsibilities, and we all have things that we sometimes have to do other than our business. We can't always stay up till 3 or 4 a.m. Writing a sales letter or making a bunch of YouTube videos. So I'm digressing here. The place I always like to start is with Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, Start with Why. And you can definitely go look that TED Talk up. I'll leave a link in the description. And essentially it's just saying, why do you want to start your business? Why do you want to do this? And I highly recommend that if you're just getting started, go ahead and pause this video and copy all of these pages, because these are all the pages you need to be successful, to be successful in building a strong foundation, particularly a marketing foundation for your business. I'm never going to say this is a guarantee. So starting with why is understanding why you're doing what you want to do. I personally believe every individual has the capacity to control his or her financial future. And how I'm going to, that why is why I started one of my first companies, which is the Wealth Titans, teaching people how to invest in the stock market. And it's why I'm eventually going to be starting this company, which is showing people that they can take their passion or skill and turn it into a small-time business, and then with that platform grow from there. Because I truly believe, from my humble experience, that the quickest way to begin to break out and have your own business is to start as building authority around yourself and your skills and what you're able to do. So whether that's as a freelancer, a coach, a contractor, a consultant, or whatever, that I believe is the best way to start. And then you can springboard your business off of there. But more on that later. I'll do that talk more about that philosophy down the road. So here it's just just watch his TED Talk and then figure out, why are you doing this? Because the big why is what's going to, keep you motivated. It's what's allowing me to record this video at 10 o'clock at night instead of, watching Netflix or something else, something infinitely more entertaining, by our societal standards. Anyway, so starting with the golden circle, and then once you have that golden circle, I liked where he took his golden circle and then he created essentially kind of like not necessarily a mission statement, but just talking about the value you provide. And of course you can check that out on his website as well. And this is just saying, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to deliver value on what actually works. I'm going to helpfully empower individuals. It's part of this series, is just showing you just me sitting at my home office recording videos. Like it's not grandiose. It's really gritty. There's a lot of late nights. It takes a lot of work. And I believe leading by example is the best way to do that. So I'm going to record this series showing you that it really does take a lot of work, and I'm willing to put in the work, and I'm willing to help you put in the work so that we can all be successful. And you can see the other tenets here, providing quality information, developing dynamic solutions, not saying a one size fits all, and then leveraging great opportunities, not jumping on every cool new thing that comes out or every new marketing gimmick, but really taking the time to figure out what really works, kind of 80-20, and then leveraging that. So this is another thing you can find. I'll leave a link to in the description below, and I'll leave I'll actually write out the hierarchy of these things so you can go through it as well. And then this is an optional thing. I got this from Sam Carpenter's Work the System, creating a strategic objective and 7 operating principles. And essentially his whole Work the System is seeing your business as a system and coming up with something that you can give your team to say, this is how we operate. So if you had an employee and they're having a problem with a customer, instead of coming to you and saying, okay, how do I handle this? They could go to the operating principles or strategic objective and be able to find the answer for themselves. Of course, I went through this process and then I went, wow, this is going to be really helpful when I'm actually profitable and have, a team. So this is definitely something. Work the System is definitely something to check out. He's actually made the book free. Again, all links, references in the description below. I'm going to spend like an hour looking all this stuff up, but that's okay. But definitely something that I have in my foundation materials, but I just haven't actually used. And that's part of the series, is just telling you, hey, I went through this, but I didn't get a lot of value out of it yet. And then we have the prospect avatar. And this is arguably, I think, the biggest piece of value I have gotten out of everything that I've learned thus far, is knowing that you need to focus in on one person. So I have I have the kind of 7 key questions to ask, and essentially you just make a profile. I mean, we know why we're doing what we're doing. We know what we want to deliver, the value we want to deliver, and then we need to go out and figure out who are we going to deliver that value to. You notice, like, all of this, I don't even have a product yet. And I think developing all this before you have a product, you can have product ideas. That's okay. I put those in project file up here. I keep them completely separate. But this forces you to go through a very meticulous process. It's not painful. It's not painful, and it will save you a lot of pain in the future. We're going through this process to make sure that what you do wind up building, what you do spend 3 or 4 months putting together in terms of sales pages and courses, actually gains traction when you launch it. So creating your customer avatar is like step number 2 or 3 in the process. So step number 1 being, what are your core values? Why are you doing what you're doing? What value do you want to bring and provide? And then step number, 3, I'll call this step 3, is who you're going to provide that value to. And then once you know who you're going to provide that value to, Then we went into the unique selling proposition. And I just took this from a marketing genius master, Perry Marshall. 80/20 Sales and Marketing. Definitely can't recommend that book enough. It's phenomenal. Using his Power USP formula, I said, okay, well, I know who my ideal customer is, and I know why I'm doing what I want to do. So what could I give to that ideal customer that would be valuable? If I was going to, and I like doing this, again, I haven't created a product. I did this before I created a product. I said, okay, if I was going to give them like this top of the line, cream of the crop coaching program, like I was personally going to hold their hand, what would that unique selling proposition look like? And that's what I developed here. And you'll see I have the elevator pitch, USP, my commitment to you, Power USP. Those are all just different variations of the 80/20 Sales Marketing Master formula. So really, you just need to do the formula and you'll be good to go. And do the formula as if you're going to have this great coaching program where you're going to work one-on-one with your ideal customer, and you're just going to be able to give them everything they need. And that doing that, number one, helps you get in the frame of, okay, this is how I put together a USP. And that was really helpful to me. But number two, it helps me see where I want to go. It's because obviously not every product or service I make is going to be the coup de grace, like the whole 100 yards. This is everything you need to know. And I'm going to be calling you every day at 7 a.m. saying, get out of bed, go do what you need to do. Woohoo. You know, like that's, maybe that'd be ideal, but it's not really realistic if I want to, I don't know, help more than 2 people. But creating the USP for that kind of program where I'm able to devote 100% of my time to just one person is helpful in saying, okay, well, this is what the ideal scenario looks like. What kind of products or services can I make that are close to that in the future? And then I take this USP and take little pieces of it to create USPs for other products and services. And when I say products and services, that could be a marketing material like a lead magnet, or it can be what you take for a webinar, or it can be an actual course, or it really could be, you know, a service you provide or a coaching program you wind up making. So that's step we're on 4 now, which is the unique selling proposition. And then we have the attractive character. And I got this idea from Russell Brunson. Again, link in the description below. Wow, that's a lot of links. And essentially it's saying, looking at, all right, you know what you believe, you know what you want to do, you know who you're going to do it for, and you have an idea of what your value is and how to communicate that with your unique selling proposition. So now, what kind of person are you going to portray yourself as? And this doesn't mean you're going to come up with a fake like TV personality, but you're going to choose what you share about yourself and what you don't share about yourself, and how you're going to behave and conduct yourself. It may seem it was a little strange to me when I first ran into it, because I went, well, wouldn't I just be myself? And the answer is yes, but when you write down who yourself is, it's a lot easier to A, relate to your ideal customer, and B, it's a lot easier to be yourself. I mean, even though there's nobody else in the room with me right now, just talking into the camera and the microphone, it's still nerve-wracking. I've done maybe 10 or 12 videos, and this is still really weird. But because I've already created this kind of persona, like I know how I'm supposed to behave, which ironically is pretty similar, which is pretty much identical to how I behave when the camera's off, but it helps keep you personable and keeps you as you go through making videos and writing blog posts, because it ensures that you don't try to be something you're not, which is kind of ironic. You're going to design yourself so that you act like yourself. And that was just my personal take on it. You can, in his book, .com Secrets, he dives really deep into, how to do this. And then actually, when you write through your attractive character, he does it through a story. You write through your attractive character story, you'll actually be able to use that in your sales and marketing materials further on down the road. So you'll notice that I always say you'll be able to use this in your sales and marketing materials further on down the road. So not only are we kind of building the foundation of our business and figuring out who we are and what we want to do, we're also building the beginnings of assets that we're going to be able to come back and grab from in the future. And that's what this Indoctrination Sequence is. It's his formula for this is how you make your attractive character story and how you communicate, your personal struggles in a relatable way. And you'll see it's work in progress because I'm still working on it, right? And then we have marketing philosophy, which I think was from one of our latest episodes. And this is just a way that I like to organize all my thoughts. And I like breaking down my entire industry or business or niche that I'm in into 3 big steps. So in this particular case, it's marketing. So I broke it down into authenticity, customer focus, and trust. And I wrote a blog post on how what I think about my topic, so what I think about marketing, B, what I think is wrong with how other people do it. I don't name specific names, I just talk about in general. And then C, I present, here's how I think you should go about marketing yourself. Or if you're in the fitnesses, here's how I think you should go about losing weight or gaining muscle. And I like breaking those down into 3 steps. So for me, it was authenticity, customer focus, and trust. And I'll leave a link to the I originally called it Power Brand Marketing. I'll eventually do a new video, but essentially I broke it down into, first you start with content marketing, then you use direct sales to connect with the customer, because a lot of direct sales methods are actually very effective at building rapport. It doesn't always have to be just using those things only when you sell. And then social media being on the back end, fostering and growing that relationship as opposed to using it as a way to trying to start that relationship. So you start the relationship with great content. You use direct sales methods to really solidify that initial rapport, and then social media is kind of like what comes in on the back end and turns that little spark into hopefully a flame. But I'll leave a link to the description that talks more about this. But just having some sort of philosophy where you can break down 1, 2, 3, and this is what I believe, and this is how you do it in that 1, 2, 3, is really helpful in terms of organizing your unique voice and your unique angle on how you go about things. And of course here, this is just this is a bunch of gibberish for coming up with the marketing video that I made. It was just a couple of slides and me talking. So I made a bunch of edits since then, so I should probably fix it, but you can go check that out, description in the link below. And then in this video, I'm going to go through 3 things that are kind of new, and I just decided that it wasn't really worth going through an entire video for, because I'm definitely going to do it down the road. But one of the things is, if you're going to be doing a lot of search engine optimization, or you're going to be doing, PPC advertising, then figuring out what your or YouTube or YouTube, figuring out what your core keywords are going to be is really important. So you kind of want anywhere from 10 to 20 keywords, and ideally long tail keywords. So not just like how to invest, it's how to invest in the stock market, or that's a terrible example. So not just how to invest, but you say how to invest in blue chip stocks, right? That's a little longer and that's more specific. So 10 to 20 of those types of keywords you'll want to just look up. And of course you can use Google's keyword research tool in AdWords, but you will have to set up an AdWords account and put in a credit card. Otherwise they will not give you the actual information. Or you can just go on Fiverr and tell someone your industry, and they'll use they'll use SpyFu or SEMrush or something that's like $50 or $100 a month, and they'll go find those long tail keywords for you, and it'll cost you like $10. So that's something you can do when you're just starting out. So as you move forward, you make a blog post, you make a YouTube video, or you're sharing something on social media, okay, these are the keywords that I want to include in what I'm doing because I want to build my, outreach strategy around that. And then there's company colors. Between you and me, I spent way, way too much time on this. But there's a great blog. I'll leave it in the description below. I can't remember the name, so it'll just pop up. Okay, there it is. That's the blog. And this article goes through every detail you'd ever want to think of how to choose your company color scheme. So I think laughably, I spent like 7 or 8 hours on this one day. And that's just, part of the weakness of getting tunnel vision and really wanting to get it right. And I don't even think I scratched the surface of what I could choose. But this little chart I used to figure out what my colors were going to be for the authority funnel that I'm eventually going to be sharing with you guys, and the Act Marketing logo that I haven't really done much with. And that's just part of being a solopreneur. You'll be like, okay, I'm going to make my logo. I want it to be the perfect colors because I want this to be right the first time, and I'm not going to change it. And you spend all that time and you get the logo, and then you're like, okay, now I actually have to go do something that will produce revenue. So this was definitely sharing one of the things that I spent way too much time on. And then testimonials. And I think a couple of years back, I did some freelance work on Fiverr and Elance, now Upwork, and I went back and I clipped all of those testimonials. And even though they're not directly related to what I'm doing now, it's really good to just have a safe place to keep all of the positive feedback you've got, because you never know when it's going to be helpful in terms of building credibility for yourself moving forward. So whenever I'm putting together a landing page or a sales page, I'll come to this page, and I have another much longer page in my Wealth Titans file, and I'll go through those testimonials and pick out the ones that are relevant to the product or service that I am promoting or selling. Of course, testimonials that have to do with what the product or service is. You definitely don't want to take a testimonial that was for your protein powder and then use it for your investing course, because that's kind of like doesn't really match up. I mean you can, because probably no one's ever going to find out. But when if someone does find out, it's a pretty big risk. And I've seen other people been around enough and looked at enough sales pages to see, big names who actually reuse the same testimonials over and over again. And your audience will eventually catch on, and then the testimonials will do exactly the opposite of what they were designed to do. So I am at around 23, 24 minutes now. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I just wanted to give a great summary. Well, hopefully it was great. Look at me. This was a great video. Ha ha ha. Yeah, so hopefully it was valuable, and just taking everything that's been done thus far and compressing it together and showing you exactly the process I've gone through to hopefully lay the foundation for a strong business. And before I let you go, I just want to reiterate the fact that this is a long game. And unless you have, even using the courses, all of the courses that I'm leveraging, one of them being Frank Kern's webinar blueprint, John Benson's 3X VSL formula, several guides from Digital Marketer. This stuff really takes work. And when you're working full-time, or you're working more than full-time, you definitely want to set reasonable expectations with how much you think you can get done. and dealing with disappointment of getting to the, coming home. You come home late, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I said that I was going to work on this tonight, but I'm really tired. Go back to your why. When I have those things, I'll go to Gary Vaynerchuk's YouTube channel and watch a video or two of his, and then I'll be pumped because he's always no excuses, kicks your butt. They're also, sometimes I watch just some inspirational videos, on you. You've probably seen them on YouTube. They play clips from movies and they have this inspirational speech going on in the background, whatever kind of helps you get pumped up and helps you get over that hump of, man, I'm tired, I don't want to start. Because the hardest thing is starting. Once you start, it's easy to just keep going and going, and then you look up and you're like, oh wow, it's 12 or it's 3 or it's 5. I stayed up the whole night, or oh, I need to go to bed now because I do have work tomorrow. Or saying no to friends when they invite you to something, and committing to getting this done. Sometimes I find it helpful. I just leave the house. I go to a coffee shop. It's just coffee shop, laptop, and I have to write. I need to get this course done. So focusing on that, but at the same time, giving yourself some slack and realizing that this is hard. And the more you do it, the easier it will get. But there's always going to be that challenge of balancing how much you really want to get done and how much you actually get done. And of course, for that, I like to do every month, I reassess all my milestones so that everything is always adjusted based on what I'm learning. And you'll change your goals, you'll change your milestones based on what you're learning, and that's okay. And that's why I recommend at least once a month you look at your milestones or your plan. Hopefully you have one. If you don't, make one for a month. Just month-to-month plan. I want to get this done this month. I want to get all that stuff I'll do in the future. And you just have a list of what you want to do this month, and then you have a list of all the other stuff that has to happen in the future. And you work from there, and it keeps you from getting overwhelmed and allows you to pivot quickly if you have something on your to-do list and you realize, actually, that's not that important as I thought it was. You can push it off and then pull from, something you thought you were going to do later on down the road. So that does it for this video. I hope the summary was helpful, and the little feedback on what it looks like when you're trying to build a business on the side, when you have your job is your main priority, and your family is also the main priority, and you're trying to fit this in late at night or early in the morning without compromising those other areas of your life. So if you got some value out of this, please go ahead and hit that like button, and hopefully you're subscribed, because this was for subscribers. If you're not, welcome to the channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for less videos like these and more that are focused on individual pieces of building your business. And of course, every 8 to 10 episodes, I'll do one of these kind of catch-up things just to share what it looks like and what is going on. So go ahead, and if you have any questions or feedback, go ahead and drop those in the comments below. I'm almost going to hit 30 minutes on this video, which is my big cutoff. So I will see you in the next episode. Keep building the business you love.